Welcome back. Here's a recap of your top stories here on All Angles. The second witness in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial takes the stand. Sergeant Patrick Mlungisi Phetoe was one of the officers at the crime scene. Commuters remain stranded as Putco drivers who feel betrayed by the company continue their fight for better wages. And Tiger Brands recalls Purity and Elizabeth Ann's baby powder after detecting traces of asbestos in the raw material. Right now, the Congress of the South African Trade Unions is calling for dialogue as the Putco bus strike continues. They've asked management to reconsider the dismissal of staff due to the unprotected strike. Workers want a 6% wage increase and the bonuses promised to them 2 years ago. Let's continue to unpack this issue. I'm joined by Cosatu Deputy General Secretary Phetoe. Thank you very much, Mr. Phetoe, for your time here on All Angles. Putco was saying earlier this week that this strike is unprotected and about 1,000 drivers who participated in the strike will get their dismissal notices. What's your reaction to that? I mean, lawfully, they would be well within their rights because the strike is unprotected, right?
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to the listeners. I think as Cosatu, we are aware that these workers are on an unprotected strike, but we want to say that, as we said in our statement, that we call for engagement with the employer, with the trade unions that are there. 3 trade unions are in that sector. And our union in particular, Phetoe, has raised this matter with the employer, and I think they are getting up to engagement. And I think we want to say this strike is provoked by the employers. If you recall, there's an agreement that was signed in 2020 of 6%, including to give workers their bonuses. The employers this year, when they were supposed to get into the negotiations, they made it publicly that they are not going to give workers an increase of 6%, including their bonuses. Therefore, I don't think it's correct for the employers to do that, to dismiss workers while they provoked and while they were supposed to implement the recognition agreement of the increase that was signed in 2020. And that is why, as Cosatu, we feel that it will be unfair for the employers to do that, and we call for the employers of Putco to engage with all those three trade unions that are recognized in that bus company.
Some of the workers say that the 3 trade unions have been speaking to Putco for a while, but Putco is arrogant. They are alleging that Putco has been arrogant in terms of, finishing these talks, and they always want to rather go to court. And some of these unions are saying that they were not necessarily in support of a strike, and they've been asking their workers to return for duty while these talks, happen in court processes. So what do you do then if even the trade unions who represent you are saying, go back to work for now, we will get you positive results in a few weeks or months?
Well, I think it's correct for the union to advise their members. Every time workers, when they embark on a strike, they should be getting an advice or legal advice from the trade union. I can confirm that our union, in particular Phetoe, has already decided to take up this matter to court and to be able to defend those workers. It is on that basis that we think that it will be unfair for the employers to rush to a dismissal rather than engaging workers in that process for them to return to work, unlike taking that a radical approach as they have already, as I've already said, that the reason why these workers are there is one of the continuation that, as Cosatu have been raising, the attack to the collective bargaining. This is Putco, that's exactly what the employers or management of Putco are doing. So we still continue to call that Putco must agree, because Phetoe in particular has called for engagement with the employers for this afternoon. Failure to that, Phetoe will have no any other choice but to take the matter to court to defend the workers.
And just lastly, in terms of what we're hearing from the trade unions, with Putco having had its executives paid and their increases at 7% allegedly, and one of the directors having paid himself a fat bonus, etc., during the difficult years of COVID, that they have now made an excuse in terms of not being able to give workers what they want. What's your reaction to that? I mean, how do we fight the fact that even the exemplary board said they cannot exempt them from paying these workers because they actually do have the money? So clearly clearly this is a company that seems to the ordinary viewer and I to be quite unwilling.
Well, I think you are correct that this is one of the issues that Phetoe is taking up the matter to court, that the company is making profit, and the company, instead of paying workers what they signed the agreement, they applied for exemption, but they continue to give senior managers a very big salaries, including giving them bonuses. And this is one of the issues that Cosatu raised during our National Day of Action, that we gave an example like the mining industry, in particular Sibanye. They were refusing workers to give workers 1,000 increase, whilst the chief executive officer is receiving almost about 300 million bonus. What does that suggest? It means that profit is only benefiting individual senior managers, and workers must continue to suffer. And with the cost of living that we're facing today, we don't think the Putco management should raise that issue, and we don't think that they should be given exemption, or they should be exempted from giving workers what is due to them, as we face the serious triple challenges in this country.
And just lastly, there are workers, for instance, who want to report for duty and they are being barred from doing so. So their right of movement is being infringed upon, but also the commuters as well are being very badly affected. What do you say to that as Cosatu?
Well, I think as Cosatu will repeat what we said, that management must allow the engagement with the trade union movement, including the workers, so that we're able to avoid some things that may happen that we don't want them to happen. You can see the fight now already there between the striking workers and the police. We don't want that. But we think that if they are able to sit down and engage on this matter, they will be able to find a solution on this matter. And we have not received any report that says that workers are intimidating, are refusing other workers to go to work. We have not received that, but we will think that our unions that are recognized there, all of them must be able to engage, and if that thing is there, they will be able to advise workers not to do that, because it will result to something that we don't want between the workers and the communities or the commuters.
All right, Mr. Phetoe, thank you very much for your time on All Angles. Cosatu Deputy General Secretary Phetoe there.